Hello YouTube, I'm here to talk about a comparison between two lenses, both 135mm, the one from Canon and the one from Samyang. It's not an in-depth technical review, I'm just trying to decide which one to keep. Just to take a little look at the lenses themselves, they both come with hoods. The Canon actually looks bigger like this, but in fact it is the smaller lens. Apart from the physical appearance, this one being a bit longer, a bit heavier as well, they both look solid, they feel solid. And for the Samyang, of course, everything is manual. That is the aperture, there's an aperture ring. Focus is manual, there's no autofocus on this lens. They have beautiful glass. The Canon being autofocus, beautiful lens element there up front as well. It has a 72 thread, is where the Samyang has a 77 filter thread. Look at those front elements. If I can get a shimmer there, that's really nice as well. In the end, it is about performance. So what I will try to do is compare them. I will show you some images in a minute. As the Samyang being a manual lens, it would be very nice to have some help with focusing. Although the focus is really smooth and you can actually see it going in and out of focus very well, it is difficult to get the focus just right. If you are a pixel peeper, like you look at the eyes and then they're in focus or not, this one will not always get you there. The images I took were all on a full frame camera. I will tell you which one has my preference after showing you the pictures that I took. I chose this subject because it has a lot of lines. You can spot the focus really well. Just to have a subject with a little bit of color to compare those as well. Now if I put them together, as you can see here, here's the Canon on the left. On the right we have the Samyang, and they're both with the same settings. The camera was on a tripod. Right off the bat you can see two differences. There's a really big difference in coloring. So the Canon seems more bright, which is not coloring, which is exposure, but it brighter, it looks fresher. The Samyang has a color cast to it. It's more orangey. And the other thing is that the Samyang over here actually has a field of view larger than that of the Canon. If we look at the sharpness of the lenses, if we compare them here, the Canon was focused a little bit higher, it was over here. The Samyang obviously focused manually, but it looks really nice and sharp. The Canon looks really nice and sharp as well. I'd say that the Samyang does perform a little bit better in sharpness. It took me about 2 times or 3 times as much to focus this, but when you get it really well, as you can see here. Canon has a lot of fringing going on, like a green fringe over here, the magenta, purple color going on over here, which is absent, totally absent here in the Samyang. So in image quality, let's say in sharpness, I'd say that the Samyang definitely does a better job. This is of course 100% at 100%, so it is not as noticeable like this. It looks great on both. You can take away the fringing, which I did not. These images are shot in RAW format, they're straight from the camera, which also shows the vignetting, which is similar, although the Canon seems to have a little bit more, a little bit stronger of it. Now if we go on and take a look at another picture here, the Samyang is on the left, the Canon is on the right. You can see that definitely there's a different color here. Let's take a look from up close, and then we see that the Samyang, if you look at this corner, it looks really, it's contrasty. It's also because even if they are shot with the same exposure, the Samyang seems a little bit darker. It might be that it's because of that it looks sharper, because there's a little bit more contrast, a little bit more darkness going on as well. And then if we take a look at another comparison, I put something behind the shopping cart, which is our main subject, to show the bokeh, as the kids are calling it nowadays, and that looks, well, really beautiful on both of them, I'd say. Again, you see the Canon with this green going on, magenta. It looks a little bit more fresh, it looks a little bit more, I wouldn't say true color, because who knows what is a true color, but it looks a little bit more clean, the image of the Canon. Not in terms of sharpness, because again, if we can see it over here, it's sharp. I mean, this one's focused a little bit differently, but it looks very sharp. And again, the Samyang is in sharpness, does a wonderful job, and it renders out these bars just really well. It's very impressive, I must say. Apart from colors, I think the Samyang does better in terms of sharpness for sure. So what's my final thought on these two lenses? They're both beautiful, they're both very good. The focal length of the Samyang is a little bit shorter, keep that in mind. It focuses distance is a little bit shorter as well, so you get the same angle of view. Obviously the Samyang is manual focus only, which does make a big difference to me. Not in terms of video, and if you're used to focus manually anyway with video, then I have no problem of saying like the Samyang does a really good job. It's half the price from the Canon one. It's newer, which I guess that's the reason why there's a lot less fringing going on. The Canon shows green and magenta fringing. Bokeh is phenomenal on both. I mean, they're really beautiful lenses. But I must say, and I'm an event photographer, I shoot headshots, I shoot portraits, and I must say the Canon is really much better to work with than the Samyang, which is a big difference, I must say, because the Samyang I used on a couple of occasions, and I was very happy with the results. With these images, you can see that the coloring is different on the Samyang. It actually lets in a little bit less light, as it seems. So the Canon seems to be a true 135, but also a true f2. I'm happy with both of them, but I need to work fast. In events, I need to have a solid grip on what to expect from my lenses. And in that respect, I should say that the Canon outperforms the Samyang, because even when you get the focus right, it's sharp, and it's sharper than the Canon. It takes more time to focus with the Samyang. If you have a Sony and you can zoom in and you can see what you're doing, you can get it spot on. But even then, I found, even doing that on a Sony body, I found that I still needed to throw away more pictures from the Samyang than ever from the Canon, because the focus was not spot on. If you think like, oh, I got that image, and you see it in the computer and that's the one, and then you zoom in and you see, it's not, it just missed a hair. on focus, that really sucks, just say it like that. In the end, in the way I work, and sometimes I'm on my own, I have to think of a lot, I have to do a lot, I even have to hold something, or it's impossible to do that with the Samyang, because you need both hands to focus and to get it right, which is easier on the Canon for sure. For me, I do work with video as well, like you see right now. I have no problem with using the Samyang. It absolutely is phenomenal in what it does. Just the Canon looks smoother, I'd say. And for portraits, it's way beyond what you need in image sharpness, really. I really think the Canon in that sense is really good. Now for my final verdict, I'd say go with the one that suits you. The Samyang is half the price of the Canon. If you're more in a run and gun, if you're in situations where you need to get the images right there on the spot, then the Canon serves a better purpose. So is it really 2 times as better than the Samyang? No. But in terms of ease of use, in terms of coloring, yes, the fringing is a problem. I must say, if that wasn't there, I had no problem to say like the Canon is the best lens. Well, make up your own mind, of course, always. But these are my findings, and I love both of them. But this one's probably going to be sold.